Welcome y bienvenidos to the Healthy Teaching Kitchen presented by the Veteran Affairs Healthcare System. My name is Enid and I'm from the Ann Arbor, VA, and today we're going to be making Huevos Rancheros, or the ranch-style eggs. These are a great breakfast option whether you want a little variety or just to have something that's good and on the go. For today's recipe, Huevos Rancheros, or ranch-style eggs, we are going to be using the following ingredients: 2 eggs, 1/4 of a can of low-sodium black beans, half a cup of Roma tomatoes, 1/4 of a cup of cilantro, 1/2 of a cup of a white onion, about 1 tablespoon of a garlic clove, about 2 tablespoons of a jalapeño, and about 1/4 cup of a small avocado, about 1/8 teaspoon of ground black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of granulated reduced sodium chicken bouillon or caldo de pollo. We are also going to be using oil spray. So our first step is that we're going to go ahead and heat our pan, and we're going to actually use our sprayer pan for about 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. You will then put it on high heat and let it heat up for about a minute, and then we will head on to the next step. All right, so what we're going to do first is we are going to add our onion and our garlic into this pot right here. What we're going to do for today is we're actually going to be using garlic powder, and you're going to add that with the chicken bouillon or the caldo de pollo. But if you have actual garlic on hand, you will put that along with these onions. So we're going to go ahead and mix that in. So once you have all of your onion in here and your garlic, you're going to want to cook it for about 15 seconds. You're also going to want to stir it up a little bit. And another nice indicator is to check for when the onions are translucent, and that's how you'll know that they are done cooking and you're ready to add your next step. All right, so for your next step, you're going to want to make sure that you reduce the heat down to a medium high, and you're going to want to add your first ingredient. That first ingredient is going to be the jalapeños. You're going to saute those for about 15 seconds. And then the next one will be the tomatoes for also 15 seconds. So first we're going to add the jalapeños. Make sure you get all of that in there. You're going to saute for 15 seconds. So next we're going to go ahead and add our tomatoes and saute these for about 15 seconds. So next we're going to add our garlic powder and our chicken bouillon, also known as caldo de pollo. So you're just going to want to sprinkle that around. And I'm just going to mix this in together. So as a fun fact, if you either wanted to make this recipe less or more spicy, by deveining and de-seeding the jalapeños, you'll actually make it less spicy. So for this, you're going to just kind of let it sit for a little bit. Just kind of mix it around, make sure it gets really well incorporated, and then once it's mixed in really well, you are ready to add your next ingredient. So our next ingredient that we'll be adding is going to be our black beans. Now black beans are great because they are high in fiber and they also have great protein, so these are a great ingredient to add, and they really do help with adding a little extra flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and add these ones in. So once I have my black beans in here, what you're going to want to do next is you're going to want to leave them for about 20 seconds, and you're going to see they have some moisture to them. So with that, you're going to want to just let them sit for about 20 seconds or until the moisture kind of just dissolves into the recipe a little bit here. So we're going to leave that. Now as we're waiting, we're also going to be getting ready to add our 2 eggs. Now I've already went ahead and cracked my eggs, but if you wanted to, you could also just crack them as you go. The nice thing about adding the eggs is that you will just let them sit for a second. Once they've cooked, then you can start mixing them in, and if it's easier for you to remember, you can always mix it in just like if it were an omelet. All right, so once that moisture's gone up from your beans, the next step is gonna be adding these 2 eggs. So I'm gonna add these eggs, and I'm actually gonna let them sit on here for about 15 seconds. Once 15 seconds are up, then you can mix them right into your recipe. What I really like about eggs is that they add a lot of good protein into your diet. So this, on top of the beans, is gonna be a really nice high protein option, whether it's for breakfast or just something kind of quick to eat. Again, great option for not only protein, but you're also getting a lot of good fiber and vegetables out of this. So once we're hitting about that 15-second mark, we're gonna kind of just look and see where our eggs are. You're gonna see that they're gonna start turning a little bit white right here. So you can let them cook a little bit longer, especially if you like to have a more scrambled egg. But if you prefer something that is a little less, let's say scrambled, but a little bit more runny, you could also start mixing them now. All right, so right at this point, I can see that where my eggs are white right underneath, and I am ready to go ahead and start mixing these in. So you can mix these in like style of an omelet. You can also just stir it, whatever's easiest for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mix in my eggs right here, and just really make sure that you're getting everything in and just well incorporated. I always like to say, turn it around, turn it over, really make sure you're mixing everything together. Once everything is well incorporated, you can just let it sit on the pan for a second, especially if you see any of like the uncooked egg. So we're gonna go ahead and keep mixing this for just a little bit longer. Then once we have incorporated our eggs well, you can go ahead and actually add in your black pepper, and you'll actually mix it right into this recipe to make sure that black pepper is nice and incorporated. So I'm gonna go ahead and just add that in and make sure to sprinkle it around. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. All right, now that my black pepper has been sprinkled in, I'm gonna go ahead and mix it again. And so I'm gonna make sure that it is well mixed into my recipe right here. Now what you're gonna be looking for is just kind of what we're seeing here. So you're gonna see some white, some yellow of the egg, and so you can either continue going to cook it if you would really want a really well done egg. But once you kind of see this, I'm gonna scoop some up for us, a little bit of this kind of brownish color with like the black speckled from the beans, that is a sign that you are ready to go ahead and eat. But again, I'm just gonna mix it just for a few more seconds to make sure that I have my flavors well incorporated. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn off my stove. So once your stove is turned off, what you're gonna do next is you're going to add your cilantro. Now I know some people may not like cilantro, so this is a step you can skip, or you can add a different seasoning of your choosing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna sprinkle it around. That way it gets really well incorporated. And you can actually, now that your stove is off, mix this right into your recipe. So I'm gonna just mix it in a little bit right here. Then what you're going to do is you're just gonna let your mixture of eggs cool down, your Huevos Rancheros, your ranch style eggs, for about 2 minutes, and then you are ready to plate. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and plate our eggs right here. So our Huevos Rancheros, our ranch style eggs, are ready to eat. So just make sure you get all of that in there, and then you can also add something like avocado to the top. That's most traditional, and that'll actually add some healthy fats, some fiber, vitamin K to your meal. So it's a really great option, especially if you wanted to get in a little bit more fiber or just add a little something extra to this recipe. So this is what the final recipe will look like: Huevos Rancheros ranch style eggs, and they're gonna taste great. So again, thank you for coming along and cooking with us.
For more nutritious recipes, check out the VA's website at nutrition.va.gov.